Hello, beautiful moms and entrepreneurs. My name is Charisse Walker, and I'm your host of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. This is a place where we come together to learn, grow, and inspire. So sit back, relax, and let's get started. Hello, Unbreakable Mompreneurs. Today we are going to celebrate women, which is the whole purpose of this podcast, and especially as an entrepreneur, but how to become independent and strong. And I'm excited for the story that we're going to talk about because it's not something I really had on the show before. So it's unique and it's wonderful. And so without further ado, my name is Charisse Walker, your host, and Natalie Bouchard is our guest. And so without further ado, would you like to introduce yourself to our audience?
Yes, hi everyone. I'm a cohesion architect. I call myself here to help women, reseat their inner authority. And we'll talk about inner authority in just a moment. That I've been invited on podcasts, like I was telling Charisse, every week because people are like, wait, what do you mean? Like, what's this authority that women don't have seated? And so I learned the hard way. For 10 years, I have been in some of the most major inner circles, $700,000, name it, spirituality, quantum physics. I have 12 healing designations, neurolinguistics, somatic, nervous system work. Like, talk about hardcore seeker. And what ended up happening is everything collapsed in my life. Like, when I say everything, I mean like everything that I thought would be the worst nightmare for me, single moms, like worst nightmare, things that I said that no way would ever happen to me. Huge scam in my business, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars gone like that. Obviously, banks are like, no more credit. You know what I mean? All like the things that you can't possibly imagine for a woman. It's like, what the frig? And then I had cancer cells in my cervix. So I found that out as well. So it was like every area of my life hit so hard. But here's what happened. And this is not that all women need to go through for your authority to come back. It just happened that way for me because honestly, it's like almost life was like, Natalie is so stubborn. She is studying and studying and studying and studying. But she's not really standing in her own authority, in her own orientation. She's borrowing from everybody else. I'm teaching everybody else stuff, not my own, right? So I wasn't really standing in that. And so it was almost like all of it collapsed. And so I had picture like everything is gone. So everything that I had revolved around was no more there. So I had to find my center. There was nothing else there to attach ourselves to. And a lot of the ancient gurus talk about that when us humans let go of these significant attachments that we have, we do end up finding ourselves, right? And why life kind of set that up for me in a way where, and so when I receded, when I returned to center, I didn't realize, holy cow, my authority receded. I moved out of survival. And all of a sudden, the things that were this is a really scary situation for any woman to be in. And all of a sudden, I had no more fear. It was the craziest thing. I could see my full orientation. I could see the whole new methodology rebuilding. I could see it was like being in the prairies because I live in the prairies. And I could see when they laugh about prairies and dogs. If you let the dog run, you'll be able to see them for miles. Well, I felt like I could see my life, my future, everything miles and miles and miles away. And everything became so clear. And I'm like, do women know that this is even available to them?
Wow, I love that.
Yeah.
See, that, first of all, you're like the second person that spent more money than me on education. So you make me feel better first. But second, I know what it's like to dig yourself out of a hole. I mean, we were hundreds of thousands of dollars because of friends and family that whatever. But I look at that and I think, okay, I thirst for knowledge as well. And I thirst for self-improvement. And I like to the point where I'm so stressed out right now because I'm like in 3 different directions. I'm like, I got to narrow down. But there are 3 really good directions, and so it's hard. And what a gift that you had. And I wish that more to be able to see your life in the future, because I think a lot of people, especially listening to this, might be feeling a little lost or unsure, or what am I supposed to do? Because I really do believe we're put on this earth for a purpose, and it's like how do we accomplish that, and what are we supposed to do? And so, how did you get to have that experience, I guess?
Yeah, so what ended up happening is that, like, because we connect the dots looking backwards,
Yeah.
first off. And
Hmm.
really, that's the intelligence you and I have been studying, is someone else's looking
Hmm.
backwards.
Yeah.
And no, honestly, but that is not our orientation. That doesn't belong to us. We're studying other people's methods based on their path. And so that's what really truly woke me up. Is like, yeah, I did have a dark like month.
Yeah.
Like I'm
That's
not
really
gonna lie.
good.
But that month, and that's what I'm gonna share with you what I did to return to center. And then once I became solid, all of a sudden my nervous system felt safe again. And so the thing I want to share first, though, is I want you to picture, like, a lot of women don't realize it, but your nervous system is in survival. Even when you guys think it's not, it's in survival.
Yeah.
And that's something I had to realize. It didn't matter how much knowledge I had in my head, my nervous system was in survival. And the reason why, and this is the cool part about this, the reason why we're doing so much regulation around the body and there's hormonal issues and health issues and things happening with the body with women is because the authority is not seated. We talk about soul, we talk about mind, we talk about all these other aspects of our psyche, but who talks about the authority?
Nobody.
There's an authority. There's supposed to be an authority inside of you that gives direction to everything, that follows the path of your heart. But that's why we're like split as women. Like I would be one way with one person, one way with another person, one way. Like I was split all the time. And then one day I'm like, I'm going to do this. And then the next day I'm going to do that. That's fragmentation. We're
Hmm.
not cohesive. We're fragmented as women. And that's because we've been taught what? As women, adapt to the environment that you have. Be a good girl, adapt to the environment,
Yeah.
right? And
Hmm.
so I was really good at reading rooms and reading people and becoming exactly who they want me to become. Well, guess what? Life's like, yeah, you just built an entire life that is not yours. And you can feel it. You're even selling methodologies that are not yours. Somebody else built those. And that's why you keep seeking and seeking and seeking, because you didn't recognize that you will not find it out there. You can only find it in yourself. And so I was like, but I had to really, like, it happened. Like I said, connect the dots looking backwards is what I had to do. But can you imagine, like, this whole time, women for hundreds of years, if you think about it, we were not allowed to stand in our authority. And when we did, little girl that's standing in her authority, wait, no, we're going to change that. We got to stop that. Well, the thing is that that's where it's our inner orientation is connected to. So a lot of women are performing intuition. They're not really connected to their intuition. I was performing intuition. I even called myself a channeler for many years. I was performing channeling because the truth is, I was not connected to my own orientation. I was boring everybody else's.
Mm.
That was one thing that when I was in that dark period of a month and I was like screaming, one night it got really badly. I was screaming in a pillow because that energy and the intensity was so high that I couldn't even trust myself anymore because I'm like, am I going to even survive this?
Wow.
You can imagine, right? And so I was like, and so I was screaming in a pillow to let the anger, that energy out, right? And the next morning, I remember looking in the mirror and my eyes were so much brighter and I'm just staring at my eyes. Everything else was a mess. My eyes were so much brighter and the voice was so solid within me. And it's like, are you done following everyone else? Are you ready to follow your path? And it was just so clear. You know, when you guys, like, you know, those moments where you're just, the thing is, women, we know.
Yeah.
We already know. I already knew all of this. But then I wake up the next morning, what am I doing? I'm disconnecting from my knowing, and then I'm following someone else's path again and again and again and again and again. You see what I mean? And that's what I'm seeing so many women do. Like I'm in masterminds around the world, and these masterminds, these powerful women are asking for permission from the coach to move in a certain direction. And I'm like, authority is not seated. Because think about it, your nervous system is always asking in certain moments who's in charge. And if nobody's in charge because the authority's not there, your system's like, well, I got to take care of her. Who's going to take care of her? I got to take her. And that's what survival is. The nervous system starts to move. And now you're attracting people based on what? Past patterns And then we go into conditioning, and then we go into all this other stuff. I'm like, do you want to end that really fast? I'll show you how you end that really fast, because once your authority recedes, then your nervous system is out of survival. So now the patterns and the compulsions and everything else gone. Like, I couldn't believe how quickly all of these things that I was trying to heal and heal other people with were completely gone, because now I had within me a system that was following my path. And now I don't question anything anymore. It's the most incredible thing.
So how did it create, or it just came to you then? And so you're like, okay, you know what? Because my husband tells me all the time, he's like,
Yeah.
sure, why did you hire that coach? You know it probably better than them. So why do you keep hiring all these coaches? And I do believe that there's an importance, like there's, if they can get you or if they can help you. So I believe coaching is good for those reasons. But when it
Yeah.
comes to, like you talked about, she's asking for permission from this coach. No coach needs to give you permission to do whatever that you need to
But
do.
watch what happens in a lot of these groups.
It's
Women are not seeking coaching. They're not seeking growth, actually. They don't realize it. Their nervous system in survival is seeking containment.
interesting. Yeah.
Containment, because this nervous system, it doesn't feel safe. And especially in business, a lot of women, I mean, we didn't inherit, a lot of our ancestors weren't business women. You know what I mean? I don't have any business women in my ancestral lineage. And so I was constantly seeking containment, to be held, to feel safe while I'm operating in my business, because my nervous system does not feel safe because it's in survival. It doesn't have the inner orient. And this is why to me, all professional women entrepreneurs need to reseat their authority. Absolutely. Otherwise, you're going to constantly be seeking for validation, containment, all of those different things, from coaches, from others, from a spouse. Do you know how many women can't leave a relationship? And they're like, why? I don't know why I can't leave this relationship. It's toxic. I'm like, because your nervous system needs the containment. That's it. And good luck trying to override that. It's impossible.
I've been working on taxes, and so I need background noise, right? And so I've been watching all these horrible shows. I shouldn't, like, I need to be more uplifting shows, but there's some of these where these women are abused. And I think it's because my book, Flipping the Iceberg, and I'm creating a workshop about it. And so it's like, it's all coming back to me. And I'm like, okay, I need to do it. And so it's like, all right, I actually set the date. We're going to start launching. And so, how do you help women, or what is your advice to women who are in an unhealthy relationship or do know that they're supposed to pursue this entrepreneurial journey and they're not quite sure, or they're supposed to grow to the next level and they're afraid? How do you help them, or what is your advice to be able to get them to bump?
Yeah, and the thing is if you're focusing on all that, now you're in the trying, and if you're in the trying, you're moving deeper into survival.
Okay.
Right? If I'm trying to heal, I'm never going to end healing.
Right.
If I'm trying to clean patterns, I'm never going to end clearing these patterns. That's the truth, because the focus is on the wrong thing.
Okay.
And quite frankly, those things exist because you're not giving them love, because you want them to go away. And because you want them to go away, you're giving it power. And because you're giving it power, you're giving it. Yeah. So it's just this loop that you stay stuck in. So the first thing I do with women, I'm like, are you done healing? Are you done clearing your patterns? Are you done integrating and recalibrating your mind? Are you done with neurolinguistic and somatic and regulating your nervous system? Are you done tapping? Are you done doing all those things? Because I'll tell you, if you're done, then come into my world. But here's what, and the process is this. The number one thing I say to them is, what is going on in your reality right now? Number one, let's not look at the pattern, just look at the bump. I call them human bumps. My TED talk was all about human bumps to natural success.
I just used that word with you and it wasn't even intentional.
Yeah,
So
no,
funny.
yeah, I love it. And I'm like, she's speaking my language. And so the first step is what we don't realize, and I was doing it, was like, I had all these things. I have teenage daughters, and there were all these things surfacing.
Yeah.
Obviously. And because I wasn't, most of my life, I haven't been living this way. So there are a lot of patterns that I transferred over to my daughters. And of course, the kids are your mirror. They're your mirror. And my daughters were my mirror. But what I would do was, instead of being with the reality, because God is in the reality, the universe, the whatever word that somebody wants to use, the higher power, the divine, is in the current reality that's going on right here, right now. But Natalie would be like, let's go learn another designation. Let's go meditate. Let's go pray for a God out there when God is speaking to me right here, right now, trying to get my attention. See, the thing is, because my nervous system was so much in survival, I couldn't hold those moments. And so I had anxiety. Like I come from a pretty messed up childhood. So I had anxious attachment, I had avoidance, I had all of it, right? And so whenever these things would happen, my nervous system had a hard time holding reality. But that's the truth. And this is why it's so important for all women and entrepreneurs. Do you know what makes a genius truly? If you want to really think about it, like a scientist has an experiment and then experiments it with reality. Reality gives it feedback. The scientist doesn't go, "Oh my God, look at this feedback. I need to heal." Right? No, the scientist receives the feedback, sits with it, feels it, lets the life force move through him or her. And then next thing you know, they've created something friggin' unusual and everybody's like, "Oh, they're geniuses." No, they have the ability to hold reality without stories, without making mean anything about them.
I love that analogy.
And when you can actually do this, this is where it was a game changer for me. And I teach, that's what I teach. Basically, that's all I do. I teach clients how to hold reality. And I think that a lot of people that's it. Well, trust me, this changes absolutely everything, because reality is trying to have, it's your path is your path. You are on your path. Nobody's on a wrong path. And with manifestation and everything else, they've built it where you can leave your world and create a different world. And now we've got 95% of people that are not getting results. Why? Because they can't stay with reality. And you can't create a new world, a new life, without staying connected to the one you're in. It's impossible. Everything's interconnected, right? And so now we've got people exiting that. So I help people hold reality, because once they can have a full participation with reality in their path, guess what happens? Things start to move and open up. The cool thing too is these bumps are showing you where you're off center. Like all the bumps in my life, like I look back and they all fell apart and it was dark at the moment, but I look back and I'm like, I didn't want any of it.
Yeah.
That relationship I was in was an easy way for him to leave. You know, all of the other things were like literally had just all of these things cleared out of the way. So these bumps happened for me to clear what wasn't true to me.
Yeah.
Because reality is going to test the bridge. And let me tell you, it tested my bridges and they fell to show me that they were not solid because they were not mine. And then when I started rebuilding from center, from who I really am, full participation with reality. And then people are like, "Look what you're creating so fast." And I'm like, we all have access to this, but are you willing to participate with life, with reality? That's the question. Because when you do, then your authority receipts. Then all of a sudden your orientation, you know who you are, you know where you're going, you know your position in this world, but it requires to follow these steps. You can't expect that. Like how many women are looking to grow, wanting to know who they are, where they're going, all these. No, life wants you to participate first, be able to hold it first. You see what I mean?
Oh, yeah. And to get to the religious side of that, because I want to bump on that, where you say that like God is he's gonna put people in places that he can trust. So it's like, just, I want to get this done, but I need to take this class. And I can't do that until I take this class. I can't do that until and it's like, just start taking the steps, because if you don't take the steps, then you're not going to get anywhere. You have to start. Like we talked about before we got on, our pioneer women, right? Like your grandma was, and mine obviously were. And like mine walked across the plains, literally. And so you have these pioneer hand carts, not even wagons, that they were hand carts that they were just taking, and one step at a time. And eventually they got from Illinois to Utah. Eventually it took them. But if they never would have taken that step, then they never would have got there. Railroads didn't exist at the time. And so I love that you talk about that, because it really is something where you have to take steps. And if you don't know where you're going.
But step as you're like a step that is working with and participating with your current reality. Like example, if your marriage is falling apart, but you're like, too bad, I want my business to be 6-figure months. It's like, no. Reality, God is trying to communicate that business and everything else will change automatically. Everything is how we do one thing is how we do everything anyways.
Oh, I
So
love
that the bump, the loud bump that's happening in your life is probably showing you where you're failing in your business anyway.
that. Hmm.
You see what I mean? So, because relationships are so very important. And so this is why, like, if we can just participate with reality, because reality is already centering women. Just so you know, if you want to look at it this way, God is already guiding all women back to center because we haven't been for thousands of years, right? Let's face it, because we had no choice. Our ancestors survived the most, some of them horrific things. And so, but we live in a different era, but we inherited their nervous systems. You see what I mean? And so that's what happened to me. I inherited that and still recreating their
Mhm.
lives, but in a new era. And so that's what ends up. So when we follow this methodology, which I call it, that's why I'm a cohesion architect. I call myself because, like a bridge, when you build a bridge, it needs to follow the laws of nature. If it doesn't follow the laws of nature, it's going to fall apart. And so that's why I have learned the hard way for almost 50 years of and I've had moments, all of us, where we were centered, rock solid, or authority was seated, and you guys created incredible things in those moments, just so you know. Like, I became a top athlete in 1 year from being 250 pounds overweight. Like, I was 250
Really?
pounds during my pregnancies. Yeah. But I became centered and my authority was in, and I became curious. I wasn't competing, I was having fun. I didn't even have a goal to achieve. I didn't even know that was even a possibility for a woman over 40. First of all, I just thought it would be fun. And next thing you know, yeah, I'm on world stage and I'm like accepting a bronze award. And I'm like, what the, like, I was just blown away with what had happened. But I always was always very athletic as a child. So
Hmm.
there was something inside of me that really desired to experience that. And so I just followed the desire of my heart and it just opened me up. But I didn't realize that that was centeredness. I didn't know that was authority. And then the next year I started competing. I tore my QL muscle, all of the things. Like, it was hard for me to hold on to my processes and plans and everything else. It was almost impossible. And now I can see it and I can connect the dots looking backwards with women. I'm like, oh my God, if you just knew, when you're centered and your authority comes back, all this stuff that we struggle as women, like body and drive and direction and changing our minds, and then we call ourselves multidimensional. And I'm like, stop it. A lot of women are fragmented. Like, it's not normal for women to be like one way one day and one way another day. No, that's fragmentation, right? And that weakens us because then I only have 5% to give to this, 5% to give to that, because it's not really whole. It's
Yeah.
not all of me. So, yeah. So that's, yeah.
Okay, I have to ask, what was
Yeah.
your sport that you did?
Oh, bodybuilding.
Was it? That's so
Yeah, it was
cool.
bodybuilding. Yeah. And in fitness category. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm fragmented then, and that's why I'm having such a struggle. And I really do feel it. Like, that's the thing is, it's not, you feel drained. You feel like, okay, I really do need to focus on one thing, and what am I going to do? And otherwise, you really don't accomplish what you're supposed to in anything. You just kind of sit there in the water, floating, and then bobbing up
Yeah.
and down until you're not floating anymore.
And then
So,
like you said, it's important to take those steps. But
mhm,
I mean, my steps were all steps to avoid what was happening.
right,
And then
right.
I called it growth because I'm learning a new methodology. You see what I mean? And life would look at me and say, hey, I only have one intention, it's evolution. And you are not evolving, you are avoiding. Because you
Mhm.
can only evolve if you move through your own path and go deeper in your own path, not if you avoid it.
Yeah, nope, I
You know?
100% agree with you on that. Absolutely. Okay, so with the cohesion architect, then what are, because I know we're out of time, but what are some steps that women can take where they, okay, you know what, I do have a pattern. Like, I had this conversation with a close person that she keeps dating the same type. They might not look different, but they're the same type. And it's because she doesn't want to get married. And so she knows if she dates this type of person, it's not going to lead to marriage. Stop it, right? So, how do you help women like become grounded and stop the patterns and stop the other things?
Yeah, like I said, like the first step is to stop focusing on patterns, to
Mhm.
stop focusing on healing, to stop focusing like that there's anything wrong with her. She doesn't have to get
Right.
married. Who said she
Right.
does?
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, we gotta like the first step is, are you willing to participate fully with reality? Because when you do and you move through these things and like I do have like a freebie that I was going to share, but
Yeah,
it teaches you because obviously there's only so much we can share here.
right.
And so it's like called Bump It Like It's Hot. It's a
Love that.
3 module course. And basically the first module is like, okay, there's a reality going on. And then I teach how that reality is going on and are you ready to participate with it? Number 2, how that reality, and I use balance forces, nature, science to show how this reality is actually guiding you back to center. And when you're off center, you create this excess potential, I call it. And yes, nature, when there's excess potential energy, it creates storms, right? So it's the same for humans. We're part of it. And so, but this is happening to bring us back to homeostasis, back to center. But we don't realize it. So what do? We fight it and make it worse. You know what I mean? So, and then number 3 is all the module 3 is all about natural authority. And that once you are centered and you stay centered, now you're building containment, your orientation comes in, and then your authority comes, your natural authority is receded. And that is when women are experiencing true stability. We're trying to be stable without having center, containment, orientation, and authority. Good luck. It'll never happen. You will have it and then not have it. If I see another confidence podcast or something about here's the steps to build confidence, I'm like, just reseat your authority, please. My confidence used to drop all the time. Like I would get depressed and I second guess myself. And now it's like, no, not at all. And that's why I'm like, but again, if we don't have that leader inside of us, because we keep exiling, and then what's actually guiding our heart, guiding who we are, like then nothing inside of us is guiding us. So that's why we're looking for a guide outside of us. You see what I mean? And doesn't it say in the Bible to not worship another human? I don't know, like,
Yep.
right? But we keep doing it. You
Yeah.
know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so this is why I'm like really excited about what I share. It did cost me a lot, and a lot of energy and a lot of all of the things, but I simplified it in 3 modules. If anybody is interested and
Wow.
curious about it, it's free. I just want to create a lot of awareness around this as much as possible. And if you guys can share it with the women, because I think that like every woman I speak to, they're just like this, like it's like this
Freeing.
missing piece
Yeah.
that you're like, oh, that is the missing piece.
So do you have a course though? Like if you're giving away the 3, do you coach people? Do you do masterminds? Do you do?
Yeah, like I do have my natural authority program
Okay.
where women are truly like ready to just be held and just learn because obviously how to hold the situations that they're in. And because I come from a pretty challenging childhood,
Yeah.
because I've done corporate, I was a business coach for 25 years. So like I've got tremendous amount of knowledge, obviously with the health, the body, business, relationships, all of the things. So I'm able to really hold people but my biggest thing is to help them hold reality and then share with them how they already are, but they don't see that they are.
Yeah.
And really, that's what I look for. I'm like, see, you're already doing it. See, you're already doing it here.
Hmm.
Now you just got to do it here. And they're like, oh. So it's more of an integration than a call. You guys are all doing it already. You're already centered, but then you abandon it again.
Right.
So it's really seeing where you are already doing it. And in your mind, your logical mind's like, oh, yeah, okay, I can stay centered here. I didn't even realize that was my voice. I didn't even realize that was you know what I mean? And so once they do recognize all of those things and are able to stay in their authority, then the containment builds. And like the women I work with, they're like, this one lady I work with, she's a lawyer. And she's like, there's all this stuff blowing up in the firm. And it's like, I just stood there and I started speaking from clarity. And this is not how I normally am. And everybody stopped and looked. And she started changing, shifting everything in a different direction. But this is the power that women have. But we do have to recede our authority so that we can actually move this power in a way that truly shifts our external environment and that we benefit from it too.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I have to ask because this is mompreneur. So let's like switch
Yeah.
for a second. And you
Yeah.
have 2 girls.
I
So
do.
You talked about your past and what you've had to overcome and being a single mom. And so there's trauma there, obviously, with your
Yeah.
daughters, like my kids as well have
Oh,
a
absolutely.
single mom. What are you doing to help your daughters who have dealt with trauma from divorce, right? Because what are you doing to help them so that they can find their authority and make sure that they are strong women
Yeah,
when they
and I
grow up?
love that. Yeah, and I love that question because for the last, it's not just the divorce, it's for the last 10 years. Like I went from corporate executive
Yeah.
and I know who I am and thinking I knew what I
Right.
loved and everything else, and then having a nervous breakdown in front of my kids and then moving into all sorts of different directions and deep into spirituality and like my kids are like is she a different woman tomorrow or is she going to be the right, my kids laugh about it now, right, but this has had like of course that had an impact on them.
Yeah.
Of course they
Mhm.
were confused. Of course it's like, can I just have the mom that I had, or you know what I mean? But mind you, I held them, I'm like, did you really want that mom, because she was always gone traveling and never
Yeah.
around. And
Mhm.
they're like, yeah, no, but what really, really helps is number one, you don't want to try. Again, the whole trying, women got to stop trying. We got to stop trying to change your kids, stop trying to make them, they're on a different path, right? The biggest thing I do now that I know that is very powerful for my daughter is that I am completely transparent. Here's the thing, like my daughters will speak about the things that really, really bothered them and hurt them. And I will hold that and say, I can't imagine. I validate the experience because it was hard for them. And I don't go, oh, well, look at my childhood. Because, yeah, of course, my childhood, you have beatings and abuse and everything else is nothing compared to, but at the same time, but they don't know that we need to validate this is really challenging for them. And so holding and then transparent, I'm going to be transparent to my daughters about all the choices I did make that
Mhm.
kind of landed in a place where, because they saw me, like where I was like, oh, I don't even know if I can pay groceries right now. Like
Mhm.
they experienced that, right? And so I was extremely transparent with them. And I really believe that if you want to clear all of this ancestral, then be transparent fully with your children because they are gaining wisdom from you.
Yeah.
Like my daughters will say, they'll sit here and they will tell you very openly of all the things that don't do the things like my mom did and why and what they would do differently. And that's wisdom for them. That's why do they have to go through what I went through? Do you know what I mean? When they can learn from me, but can I be open enough to share without positioning myself as above them or anything? Like this is the thing with parents, it's like, I still want the respect from our kids. And I'm like, if you're trying to get respect from your kids, that's why you don't have respect for your kids. Because for me to be very, very open and transparent, my daughters they speak so highly of me. And then their friends come too, and they're like, oh, this is what's going on with my mom and all of that. And they're like sharing all of the things. And then I'm very transparent of my stories. And they're like, that makes so much sense why my parents are struggling with that, you know? And just sharing the stories, but
Mhm.
transparency, if I really feel in this evolution, there's a huge evolution and global shift. And if you look, those that are extremely transparent or become a breath of fresh air, especially in the age of AI and
Mhm.
everything else. Transparency is something that is a gift to the world. And if we can be transparent, then we make it okay to be human. And when we can make it be okay to be human, now we can hold reality. And when you can hold reality, you return to center. When you return to center, your authority comes back online.
Because you're honest with yourself. Like somebody who
Mhm.
lies all the time, they can't keep the story straight. And that's the one thing I tell my kids is don't lie. Just don't. You have this internal conflict inside of you. It's just you can't be healthy because you're in conflict with the truth. And I think that that's the part that I laugh because in the days or the age, there's a lot of people that are finding out that because of genealogy. And so
Yeah.
it's very interesting that, oh, well, I'm not really this person's daughter or father, or I actually was adopted. Like all these things that 50 years ago could be kept secret because people didn't know and you didn't, it's
Yeah.
all coming out now. So
Yeah.
it's kind of the same thing is with yourself. If you can be honest with yourself and you can be open. Like I was raised in a family where it's like, don't do this. Well, why? Because I said so.
Yeah, me too.
Well, That was that age back then. And if you walked in the room and you were an older person, then you
Mm,
just
yep.
automatically
Mm,
demanded
yeah.
respect because you're the elder. I love that you are open with your children because I said so doesn't work anymore. It's more, this is why. And this,
And it's a perfect example of people disconnecting from reality. Again, like if I'm lying is because I don't want to accept that reality is this.
right.
So now I make up a story that reality is something different. But guess what? You cannot create a different life now. Your life is actually going to get even bumpier
Yeah.
because you can't create a different life without being connected to the one that you are in, which means connected to the truth of what reality is trying to show you.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? And you see so many people and they're like, oh, it's just a white lie. I'm like, you don't understand. You stop participating with God, with reality. And they'll say that they go to church and they study, what I mean, all of the things, but yet they lie because they love someone. I'm like, you do realize that's another story, right? On top of another story, on top of another story, which are all lies,
Yeah.
but you're not participating with God. And then when he heard that, he was like, yeah, I'm gonna need to sit with that because he's like, I know you're right, but at the same time, like something in him was starting to shift. And yeah, and he mentioned like 2 weeks later, he's like, just so you know, that hasn't been easy, but I am like saying the truth, even like he's like, I may not say the whole, like, but I'm like, it just starts with just not letting any words that are not true to come out of your mouth.
Mhm.
Sometimes you don't have to share it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not everybody's business. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But when it's coming out of your mouth, can it be true? Can it be connected to your reality?
Mhm. No,
Yeah.
I like that. And no, your kids, they don't need to know all the things that you've done in your life, but they definitely need to understand it. And if you want them to be honest with you, then you need to be honest with them.
Yeah. Well, they do know all of it. They'll ask me. Oh, they love it because they're like, they'll even bring their friends and like, see, I can ask my mom any question and she will answer it. And they start laughing because I told them, I literally am an open book. I will share with you everything, 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 because that wisdom will serve you,
Yeah,
will
I
help
agree.
you.
I
And
agree.
why do I live like you also? I could feel like you've lived quite the
Mhm.
adventurous life. Why were we not sharing this with her children? Oh, I
Mhm.
don't want to share this because if I share this, then they'll do it. No, you don't understand. If you don't share it, they'll do it.
Mhm. Yeah, because they're
I
curious.
think my
Mhm.
daughters have no plans on being like what I was, what I've done, because they can see exactly the consequences and they're like, not interested in that consequence.
I know, but and I told my daughter, I said, there's some kids that if you say don't touch the stove, they're like, okay, fine. But others, they do have to go up
But
and
you're
touch
not telling them to not touch it. See, I don't tell my daughters don't do this.
it. Okay.
Difference.
Yeah.
Because yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, that ego is going to come in to defend itself, right?
Mhm.
But I just share the story and what I went through, and that's it.
Wow.
Here's the thing we don't realize about stories when we connect the dots looking backwards. That's when
Mhm.
stories matter, not connecting forward. Let's drop those stories, they're lies. But when we're connecting it looking backwards, it's coded with a lot of intelligence, and my daughters take from it what they need. Like my one daughter will take one thing that's completely opposite to the other daughter, but
Mhm.
they are taking what they need. And
Yeah.
sometimes I share the same story more than once or twice
Mhm.
because they're asking again. You remember when you said that? I feel like I'm going through that right now. Like what happened? And but notice how because I'm not forcing them.
Right.
And I don't like and I'll tell like even my daughters, I'm like, because a lot of people with pregnancy and sex and everything else. And I tell them, I'm like, I started young. But I trust that whatever choices you make, you guys are going to make. And if it ends up being young, it'll end up being young. But the fact that I just put it out there where I'm like, I'm okay with whatever decision you make, both the girls are like, "Ugh." They're not even interested. Like I was boy crazy at their ages.
You
And
know,
they're
all
not even
four of
dating.
mine are.
They're not even dating. Like one's studying to become a doctor. That's totally not like me at all.
Mhm.
And then the other one is an artist and she has guy friends, but she's
Mhm.
like you could just tell like she's just not interested. She's in her craft and her work.
Mhm.
And so it's interesting, like
Yeah, it is.
but because I'm not forcing anything, can you see? And they could feel it in my energy that I'm okay and trust their path. I trust their choices, but at the same time, I do share my story of the things that did create quite the bumpy road for me, quite the bumpy freaking
Mhm.
road. But it's their choice to take it or not take it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I like the story because Like if you go back to the days of Moses, they were told how many steps to take and when, and like they were told every single thing to do because they couldn't think for themselves. He tried to give it and then they couldn't take it.
Yeah.
And then as you see that evolution from then till today, kids don't want to be told what to do. They don't want, like, and I believe that there needs to be boundaries that are healthy, right? But
Yeah.
explaining why. If you go near that river, you might trip and fall in. And if it could be swift and it's going to take you down and you're going to die.
Hmm.
Instead of just don't go do that, it's
Or
explain why.
just throw a branch and say, watch what happens to this branch in the river.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
That's what would happen to your body. That's it.
Right.
And then they're seeing it. Like I
Right.
remember my little one, like she was like 4. I'm not wearing a jacket. And I'm like, okay. She gets outside and she's like, can I get a jacket? Yeah, go back and get it. But
Mhm.
because you know what I mean? I think they really need to see the consequence
Right.
where they can actually
Right.
see it. So now they're experiencing it and they're like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
no, thank you.
Yep.
I don't want to do that.
No, I love that. All right. Well, we have talked a lot, and I
Yeah, I
this was
love it.
a
I
long
enjoyed
time.
every moment.
So did I, and I would love to talk more. But if people like our listeners wanted to get a hold of you, how would they do that?
Yeah, the first way is like the bump it like it's hot. Normally I like it's because natural authority is all application based. I
Mhm.
don't have it's very important for me to work with people that are ready to hold reality, that have done mindset, that have done heal, they've done all the other stuff, right?
Right.
I don't want to reteach all of that. Those served a purpose,
Yeah.
right? But and it prepared you for this next level. So the first step is like watch bump it like it's hot. Watch it, the 3 modules. If you feel pulled, obviously my contact info application's all in there. So
Mhm.
they certainly can fill it out. But the first step is like feel my energy, feel what I'm sharing, really feel it because something inside of you knows. And that's why I created this 3 free module because something in you will be like, yep, I'm ready for this. And some women are like, no, 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 that's not for me. And it's important for each one of you to like listen to that. And so that's why I created that.
I love
Yeah.
that. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay, one last question because now we got to talk the business side, and I promise I'll let you go. Is
No, that's okay. I love this.
how do you get your clients?
How do I get clients?
Hmm.
Well, podcasts, social media. I do mainly social media. I have been doing this for 10 years. So I
Oh,
have built an audience, email list.
hmm.
I've done a lot of I do a lot of live events. They bump it like it's hot was created in a live event.
Nice.
And so that way it had that energy.
Hmm.
But yeah, and like I attract clients where I just go to the restaurant, talk to the waitress, and she's like, well, you can imagine, right? Like, look how you were,
Hmm.
what is this, right? And so I do have that kind of energy because it's quite different what I'm sharing, and it
Yeah,
does
it's
like it
refreshing.
does, yeah, it's refreshing and it's empowering. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, it's not something that like I'm trying to, one client said to me the other day, she's like, you're the coach that's going to end all coaches. And I'm like, well, number one, I'm not a coach, but number two, um, coaching as collaboration, like you're doing with AI, that's more of a collaboration. Someone has a gift and they've been able to figure something else and you're learning from their gift. Like that's different. But trying to find ourselves or trying to like there's a lot of that, like
Yeah.
trying to get the life that they want. That kind of coaching, yes, I'm here to start ending that kind of coaches.
Well, I would say read my book, get healed, and then come to you because that really is it, like, or and I shouldn't say healed. My point is to figure out your icebergs. Where are you
Hmm.
struggling? What's holding you back, and and that pattern, repeating that pattern. So
I
anyway,
agree too. I agree totally with you. Like, this is for the woman that has done a lot of
right.
mindset, has done a lot of healing, and she's like, okay, and it's because it's all part of this.
Mhm.
That you did not like do things wrong. Like the reason why I know so much too is because of all of it, right? So it was part of my journey. But yes, I agree with you. But first off, if you know nothing about mindset, know nothing about healing, know nothing about pattern work, recalibration, anything like that, then yeah, the first step is to definitely work with you and do that part first, for sure. Yeah. Otherwise, you come into my world and you're like, okay.
Crazy. Thank you so much for being on. And for moms and unbreakable mompreneurs, go out and make it a great day and find your authority. See you later.
Thank you, everyone.
Beautiful moms, remember, you are unbreakable. Keep illuminating the world with your strength, pursuing your dreams, and reveling in the splendor of motherhood. This is Charisse Walker, bidding you farewell for now. Stay tuned for more empowering conversations on the next episode of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. Until then, keep shining bright. Signing off with love, Charisse Walker.